Problem 1 says, what is the value of the following expression? 1 plus 2 minus 3 plus 4 plus 5 minus 6 plus 7 plus 8 minus 9 plus 10 plus 11 minus 12. So you can hear the tone of how it sounds. So that gives you a hint of some cycle. So you add two positive numbers and you subtract a number. You add two numbers, you subtract the next one, like that. So if we match them this way, we'll have 1 plus 2 plus 3. So that will give us 0. Then 4 plus 5 is 9 minus 6 is 3. So that will give us plus 3. Then 7 plus 8 is 15. Minus 9 is 6. So that's plus 6. Then 10 plus 11 is 21. Minus 12, that will be 9. So you have plus 9. Okay, so this total will give you 18. So that is the answer to this question. All right. Now, problem 2. In the array shown below, threes are surrounded by twos, which are surrounded by a border of ones. What is the sum of the number in the array? Now, if you take a look at this arrangement very well, you will see that there are 5 ones here. There are also 5 ones here. There are also 5 ones here. And there are 5 ones here. So basically you have, and each of these ones I've circled are sum up to 5. So you have 5 times 4. So you have 5 times 4 plus. Now, in the case of the twos, they will follow the same concept. So you have 3 twos here, which sum up to 6. You have another 3 twos here. You have another 3 twos here. You have another 3 twos here. So that's 6. So that's 6 times 4. So 6 times 4 plus, now you have just 3 threes. So that's 3 times 3. So here you have 20 plus 24 plus 9. So 20 plus 24 is 44 plus 9 is 53. So the correct option is option C. Okay, problem 3 says Haruki has a piece of wire that is 24 cm long. He wants to bend it to form each of the following shapes one at a time. A regular hexagon with side length 5 cm, a square of area 36 cm squared, and a right triangle whose legs are 6 cm and 8 cm long. Which of the shapes can Haruki make? So we want the basic concept being tested here is concept on perimeter. Okay, so your knowledge of perimeter is being tested here because the wire here is 24 cm long. So whatever shape he's going to form will have to be 24 cm in perimeter. So if we look at the hexagon has 6 sides, and if each of the sides is 5 cm, this will give us a total of 30 cm. So he cannot produce a hexagon using the length of wire he has. Now we have a square of area 36 cm squared. So if the square has an area of 36 cm squared, that means the side length is 6, right? So if the side length is 6, perimeter of a square is 4 times the side length, right? So 4 times 6 will give you 24. So he will be able to form this particular square given the length of wire he has. Now let's look at the third option. The third option says a right triangle whose legs are 6 and 8 cm long. Now your knowledge of Pythagorean triple is being tested here. All right. So you have this 6, 8, 10 triangle, and if you sum this out, 6 plus 8 is 14 plus 10 is 24. So it's possible for that he can make this particular shape, this triangle. At the end of the day, he can make a square, he can make a triangle. So which option satisfies that? So square and triangle only. That's option D. All right. Now, problem 4. Brian's savings decreased by 20% in July, then increased by 50% in August. Brian's savings are now what percent of the original amount? Now, let's assume the original amount is X So times, now you can use decimals if you want, but I'll use fractions. Okay, so if his savings decreased by 20%, means what he now has is 80%, right? And 80% is 4 over 5. This is what we call the multiplier method of calculating percentage increase or decrease. So you have times 4 over 5, then it increased by 50%. So if it increased by 50%, what that means is that it's going to be 150% of whatever was existing. So that's 3 over 2. So if you simplify this, 2 will cancel. This will be 2 here. Now you're going to have x is equal to 6 over 5. So 6 over 5 is 1.2, which is 120%. So this is what it is going to have at the end of the day. It's going to have 120% of the original amount. Now, problem 5. Cassie went on a road trip that covered 100 miles. So the total distance for this road trip is 100 miles. So D equals 100. Now, stopping for a lunch break along the way. The trip took 3 hours in total. So, including the lunch break, the trip took 3 hours in total. And our average speed for the entire trip while driving was average speed while driving, not for the entire trip now, just while driving, okay, was 40 miles per hour. So, in minutes, how long was the lunch break? So, here we have that the total time was 3 hours. Total speed, average speed while driving, 40 miles per hour. So what we're going to do here is set up the speed distance time equation. So S is equal to distance over time. But take note that the average speed given was not for the entire trip. It was for just the driving, the period at which she was driving. So this speed 40, we will have to adjust the time to fit into this context. So that's going to be 100 over 3 minus t. So we have to deduct the time. Let's say the time she used to take her lunch is t minutes or t hours, whatever it is, right? But in this case, we're expressing in hours, all right? So let's deduct that from the total time for the trip, which was 3 hours, all right? So based on this, we will calculate the time she used to have her lunch, right? So here, if we cross multiply, we have 100 is equal to 120 minus 40t. Okay, so if you create like times, you're going to have 100 minus 120 is equal to minus 40t. Okay, minus 120 is equal to minus 40t. So this is minus 20 is equal to minus 40t. So if you calculate this, you're going to get that t is equal to 0.5. So t is equal to 0.5 hours, which is equal to 30 minutes. So this is the time she used for her lunch break. So option B is the correct option. Now, problem 6 says Peter lives near a rectangular field that is filled with blackberry bushes. The field is 10 meters long and 8 meters wide, and Peter can reach any blueberry that is within 1 meter of an edge of the field. The portion of the field he can reach is shaded in the figure below. What fraction of the area of the field can Peter reach? So the part of the field Peter can reach is the shaded part of this rectangle. So basically, we want to find the fraction or the ratio of the shaded border to the entire rectangle. So let's break down the shaded portion into smaller rectangles. So we can break it down this way. Can break it down this way. So for the upper rectangle, we're going to have that the total area is 10 times 1. All right. Same thing for the bottom one, 10 times 1. Now, for the smaller ones here, if you deduct 1 from 8 and another one from 8, you're going to have 6. So this middle part is 6. So For each of these rectangles, we're going to have 6 by 1 and 6 by 1. At the end of the day, we're going to have 10 plus 6 plus 6 plus 10. This will give us our total area. So 10 plus 6 is 16, plus 6 is 22, plus 10 is 32. So this is the total area of the shaded portion, the area that Peter can reach. All right. Now let's calculate the total area of the field. So we're able to find the ratio. So for the entire field, it's simply going to be 10 times 80. This is the total area. All right. So it's going to be 80 square meters. Now we're asked to find the fraction. So it's going to be 32, which is 80, 32 over 80. So 16 here is 2, 16 here is 5. So we have 2 over 5. That's option E. So that's our correct answer. So I just cycle that. Now, problem 7. Mika would like to estimate how far she can ride a new model of electric bike on a fully charged battery. She completed 2 trips totaling 40 miles. The first trip used half of the total battery power, while the second trip used 3 out of 10 of the total battery power. How many miles can this electric bike go on a fully charged battery? So the first trip was the 2 trips sum up to 40 miles, but the first trip consumed half of the total battery power, while the second trip consumed 3 over 10 of the battery power. So let's find the total battery power that was consumed for this trip that accumulated to 40 miles. So to solve that, we're just going to say half plus 3 over 10, which will give us 8 over 10. Okay, so this is the total battery power that was consumed for 40 miles. So we want to find how many miles will Mika be able to cover with a fully charged battery. So if 40 miles consumed 8 out of 10, that's basically 80% of the battery power. How many miles will it take to consume 10 out of 10, which is 1? Okay, so if you cross multiply this, you're going to have 40 times 1, 8 over 10x. So if you cross multiply this, you're going to have 400 over 8 is equal to x. So 400 over 8 is simply 50. So when the battery is fully charged, Mika will be able to travel 50 miles with the battery before it runs out. Okay, so now problem 8. A poll asked a number of people if they like solving mathematics problem. Exactly 74% answered yes. What is the fewest possible number of people that could have been asked the question? So this is a very simple question because it says 74%, that's 74 over 100 of the people answered yes. We cannot have fractional people, right? So they're basically asking us what is the smallest whole number we can get from this percentage. That will constitute the fewest possible number of people that could have been asked this question. So let's simplify and reduce the lowest term, then we'll be able to have an idea what the least number can be. So 2 into 74 is 37. 2 into 100 is 50. Now, this cannot be reduced any further. So you can see that the minimum number of people that could have been asked this question is 50 people, because that's the only way you're going to get a whole number out of this. Problem 9. What is the value of this expression? Very easy. So here you just need to find square root. The inner, you start from the inner square root. That will be 16 times square root of 81 is 9 over 81 times square root of 16 is 4. So again, you just have to do that again. So here, you don't even need the square root sign anymore. So you're just going to have 4 times 3 over 9 times 2. So 2 cancels, 2 here is 2, 3 cancels, 3 here is 3. At the end of the day, you're going to have 2 over 3 as your answer. And now the final question, which is question 10, says 5 runners completed the Grelin X Marathon. Luke, Melina, Nico, Olympia, and Pedro. Nico finished 11 minutes behind Pedro. Olympia finished 2 minutes ahead of Melina, but 3 minutes ahead of Pedro. Olympia finished 6 minutes ahead of Luke. Which runner finished fourth? So let's arrange these runners in order of when they finished. So we have that Nico finished 11 minutes behind Pedro. So currently Pedro is first, Nico is behind Pedro. So let's say Pedro is here. So this is Pedro. P is 11 minutes apart from Nico. This is 11 minutes. Now, Olympia finished 2 minutes ahead of Melina, but 3 minutes behind Pedro. So Olympia is 3 minutes behind Pedro. So this is Olympia O. So compared to Pedro, this is 3, right? But she finished 2 minutes ahead of Melina. So if Olympia finished 2 minutes ahead of Melina, means Melina is behind Olympia by 2. So we can measure another 2. So this will be Melina here. Now, Olympia finished 6 minutes ahead of Luke. So this is Olympia here. So 6 minutes ahead of Luke means Luke is 6 minutes behind. So already they have 2 minutes to Melina. So we need to add 4 more minutes. So we'll get to Luke. So this is the arrangement of their position. So Pedro is first, Olympia is second, Melina is third, Luke is fourth, and Nico is fifth. So the question is asking us for the fourth person. So that's Luke. So option A is the correct answer. So with this, you see that the first 10 questions in MC8 can actually be solved in less than a minute. In fact, in less than 30 seconds. You just need to understand the concept and apply them correctly. If you want more of this kind of video, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll be bringing more content your way. And if you're writing your AMC anytime soon, I wish you all the best, and put in the comment section how many questions you aim to get correctly out of possible 25 questions. See you in the next video.